Hey y'all, welcome back to the ranch. I'm Jared Paul. It's a beautiful day outside today, even though it's a little chilly. The sun is out and it's nice and clear, so I'm going to do some more repotting today. It's going to be 2 tropical sago palm trees that are in their original pots. The first, the larger one, I got for Laura for her birthday down in Beaufort, South Carolina, 3.5 years ago. And the other I got from a local nursery, end of season sale, really deep discount sale a couple of years ago. So, based on the way they're acting, some of the finer needles are turning yellow and brown. I would say they have proper plant food, they have proper watering, so they must be some sort of root bound. So I'm going to upgrade their pots. And I have 1 poinsettia that I'm going to get ready for the holiday season in an attractive pot. They turn bright red for the holiday season here in the United States, and I absolutely love them. I had planted this one with about 5 other cuttings, and it's the only one that took. So getting it out of that larger grouping pot and putting it in a more aesthetically pleasing one. So that's what's coming up on today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. All right, so before we get started, I'll just kind of show you what we're working with here. So these are the sago palms. Nice, thin, beautiful branches. They usually kick off a grouping of these once a year. It comes right out of the middle. It's really fun to watch. They grow a few inches a day and unfurl like a fern almost. You gotta be careful with the root base because these bad boys are sharp, and the leaves actually turn into spikes down here. So you gotta be careful. The cool thing about these in the wild, when I lived in South Carolina, which is the bottom southern eastern part of the United States of America, it's like a subtropic type of atmosphere and climate, and these grow wildly. And even in your yard, you get these things called pups, and these little balls like this start to form at the base, along the root line, and you can pop them right off, plant them in a pot, or plant them in a different spot in the yard, and you have a new tree. So doing landscape jobs, I really picked up dozens and dozens of them to add to my own yard, which was really, really exciting. Okay, so what I want to do with this one, as you see, I mean, its canopy is ginormous, and obviously it's been creeping towards the sun. So I'm going to get it potted directly into this tropical blue pot, and I'm going to angle it so that it's more upright, and this will give a circular canopy. I don't want it leaning to the side like that, because like literally in my plant room, you're avoiding it all the time and entering and exiting. It just takes up so much room. Hey Millie, good girl, sit. All right, so this is what I'm trying to get with the other one. More upright, nice circular little canopy there. You see this one, it's kind of growing out of its pot. It's got a really nice base. So I'm just going to get this out of this pot and into the black pot, and this out of the black pot and into the blue pot. And then here we have my failed poinsettia. Well, it's not a total failure. These are all cuttings. I wanted it to be a nice big grouping planting. It did not work out that way. So there's 4 dead ones I got to pull out here, and 5 dead ones. And then I'm going to get this potted up into the pot that I left inside with the soil, because once again I had to put my extra soil that was staged outside inside on the heating vents to get it to warm up enough to do these repottings. So stand by and we will get started with that. All right, what a pretty time of year. I love when it's all filled in and the trees are full, from spring through summer and into fall. But when all the leaves are down and I have the full view of the pond, I just absolutely love that. And then you might be able to make it out up there. There's a little tower at the top of the mountain. It's a great hiking trail up to there. And from that view, you can actually see 4 different states: Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. So it's really, really cool. All right, so let's start with the little guy first. Little piece of granite in there. Oh yeah, these didn't take it all. They're just pretty much sitting on top of the soil without a root base. That's okay. Toss those out into the yard. This one too. So since this goes from a bright green to a dark green and to a red, I figured a nice little white textured pot would be attractive. So it's got a little drip tray pot inside. I believe a client gave this to me from a dead orchid. So I'm just gonna dig my hand down deep underneath. Oh, this is why I'm doing it outside, because I make a mess. All right. Get some soil put in the base here. And this is just your standard topsoil. Has some perlite, has some peat moss, has some regular soil, dirt. Some time release fertilizer pellets in there, the Osmocote Plus. Love that stuff. Okay. I don't waste my time with bonsai soil with like plants that I'm creating bonsais from. If it's a standard tree, yeah, when it rates it, absolutely, I will invest the money in that bonsai soil. But if it's a plant converted into bonsai type or something I'm trying to keep, for the future, not just a one season, which these are typically annuals for people. They'll get them, around Thanksgiving here in November, keep them through maybe January 1st, and then they just chuck them. They don't realize that these create nice plantings and can stay year round, year to year. I believe Nigel Saunders has one from the Bonsai Zone. He has one that's 30 years old. It looks way different and way better than this one, but I'm starting to get a nice woody trunk on this. The root base, you see, is very shallow, very shallow. Now, I only would repot indoor trees at this time of the year. I would not mess with an outdoor tree and repotting, because it's just, the roots and the tree itself are probably going into dormancy, so it would just be a terrible time to do a repotting on those. You want to wait for spring for that. We're just at the beginning stages of winter here, so I'm getting to my indoor projects. That's the great thing about having a lot of outdoor trees and indoor trees. There's always something to do. If I remember, I'll give you a little shot of my other poinsettias that are a little more advanced as a bonsai. If I don't remember, I'm sure you'll forgive me. if you're not new to my channel, you've seen videos before, I forget stuff all the time. All right. And really no need for it. It's pretty sturdy in there, but I'll put this nice little piece of granite that I found on one of my hikes actually up to the tower. I'll put that back in here just as a decorative. All right, cool. One down. Okay. This is some nice soil. This is a really nice mixture. The other soil I have is more recycled, gnarly bunch. So if I'm putting that in the black pot, I got to put the large one into the blue pot now. So that's what I'll do. Make some room. I don't know how I came to use 2 terracotta pots as my extra soil bins, but that's the way the season ended, so whatever. Okay, let's do our best to do this without cutting myself on the base. Oh, I had this wood block in there to keep the pot, more towards the top of this. I don't know what my reason was for not repotting it initially, but I'm glad that I'm finally getting to it. I don't need that block in there anymore, but that might be a cool little stand for a bonsai in the future. All right, so I'm gonna get soil put in the base here, and I'll pack that down a little bit. The base of that was frozen. We had a really cold night last night. Oh yeah. Jeez. thing is a brick. Wow, this soil is actually all still frozen. So let's see if there's enough soil in here to kind of fill this out. If not, I'm going to have to wait a little bit. Oh my gosh, the camera wants to be a jerk. All right, let's try this. Let's try that. Okay. I say camera, but it's my phone. It's a couple years old. It's low on storage and not the best camera in the world. But when I went to upgrade to the iPhone that we have extra, it didn't jive with my editing program, and I just got so used to doing things a certain way that I pretty much gave up. I'm really not an iPhone or iPad type of guy. I've been with Droid since the beginning, and you know, once you're comfortable with something, it's kind of hard to make the switch. Just trying to work this out of the soil here. Oh, it's in there, and it is odd. It doesn't have like a deep root basin by any means. Like, I have my hand completely underneath the bulb. Thinking it's got like one deep tap root. Let's get some of the soil poured in here. As you can see, my hand is feeling much better. On week 11 of rehab on a broken hand. For 3 weeks I've had it out of the brace, and I finally now can make a closed fist. So that was exciting. All right. Wow, that's cool. So I don't want to mess with the roots too much, even though it's an indoor tree. I'm sure there is some level of dormancy in the months with less sunlight. I have great windows, eastern-facing windows in the house, so these guys year-round will get some nice intense sun when it's out. Okay, so there's like some stringy surface roots, and then one main dominant root going down there. Just gonna shake the soil, make sure it fills in all the gaps. You don't want any little air pockets around these little roots. There we go. All right, see how more vertical it creates its fan shape the way it's supposed to? There we go. Move out that way. Yeah, we're gonna need you to tilt a little that way. So you see these roots. There we go. It's actually pretty nice. Going out radially and then down into the soil. Not too much tangling. We got this from a place called Barefoot Farms, and it got that name. It's a nursery, fruit, vegetable stand, pretty much anything you could sell. Boiled peanuts. This nice family sells, and the guy who does all the farming, pretty much himself, the wife and grandmother, they run the farm stand. He's barefoot all the time, so hence the name Barefoot Farms. Really good people. I asked how much this was, and she said, make me an offer. I said, 20 bucks. She goes, I can't hear you. And I said, 40 bucks. She's like, now we're talking. Grab which one you want, honey. That nice southern accent. All right. So I'm probably gonna have to come back to y'all when my soil defrosts to finish this planting. Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get some really hot water in my watering can and pour it over that soil. Yeah. All right, that's gonna be great. All right. The soil's warming up and it's warming up outside. I almost feel like I should take a layer off. I took the winter hat off. Nice and sunny. It's supposed to get really nice this weekend. Okay, it's a nice little root ball here. Lift it up with one arm. Get that thing vertical. Might have to train these branches to go in their right direction. They've been leaning in the wrong direction so long. Give them a little push. It's supposed to fan out from the center evenly, you know. There we go. Oh yeah, it's got some nicer balance to it now. I don't have the patience to wait until this all drains out, so it will go ahead and water the base layer of soil as it drips down into the soil here. So save me a job later in the week when I'm watering everything else inside. So this soil is actually from my tomato plants, so I believe there's some cow manure mixed in there. It's nice and dark and deep and rich. We'll see how it does. I know typically these things grow in sandier soil down south, especially close to the water, which is where I was. Beaufort, South Carolina. It's home of Parris Island, hoorah, where Marines go to get trained to become Marines. And that's our 13-week boot camp down there. But there's also a series of barrier islands, all connected by bridges. Very small pieces of land, connected by bridges. It's really beautiful. Great place to live, where Franny was raised. And then when I went back to school for my master's in psychology, I went out to Boulder, Colorado, and got a whole different type of experience, the mountain experience. So that place was great. And then we came back to the Northeast because Franny was an absolute phenom in ballet. She got into a very competitive program with the Bolshoi, and you weren't supposed to be able to audition until you were 10. She was 7. They accepted her and gave her a full scholarship. So I said, okay, this kid obviously has extraordinary talent, so let's go ahead and get moved to where she needs to be. So between New York City and Boston, for a while, she won a bunch of competitions and things of that nature, which is where her current professional company discovered her. She won the Connecticut Classic and the Boston Youth American Grand Prix, and now she dances full-time ballet in New York City with New York Dance Project. Really freaking awesome. She just had a virtual performance the other night, and honestly, it was even better than being in person because when she wasn't on stage, I was able to watch football. I didn't have to get out of my sweatpants or drive 2.5 hours, and it was free. So all the benefits in uncertain and crazy time. But try to look at things in the positive light. What's positive today, you know? Well, what's positive today is I'm getting to repot these. Long overdue. All right, so that is awesome. I'm very pleased with that, and I am all muddy as hell. All right, so I may have changed my mind on what pot I want this to go into. If the roots are as shallow as I think they may be, I would really like to put it in this nice terracotta pot as opposed to the oversized black nursery pot. But I guess we won't see until we pull it out here. So that's really light. I feel like this thing's mainly roots and no soil. Ah, sheesh. Okay, that one bit me. Man. Okay. Okay, same kind of deal here. I've got fertilizer pellets in there. This is considered a king sago palm, 10-inch. I'm assuming 10-inch refers to the size of the pot. So we've got a few really dominant roots down low. Oh yeah. Now, keep dreaming, Jared. But in the interest of space and amount of soil that I have on hand, I think I'm just going to raise it up in this pot to about there. Yeah, and keep it in the same pot. That's what I'm going to do. I'll show you where these sit inside after this, and that'll probably make more sense on why I'm trying to conserve a little area space. Honestly, now that I've fanned out the that larger sago palm, I have no clue if it's gonna fit where it was. Might have to rethink that, but it is pretty glorious. It might just have to be like a centerpiece in the seed room or something like that. All right. Just getting a good base in here to raise this thing up a little bit. Pull some away from the bulb, expose that nice bulb. It almost looks like a little pineapple, the bulb. It's got little diamond-shaped sections. If you've worked with sago palms before, indoors or outdoors, let me know down below your experience with them. I only lived in the South a few years, so all of my subject matter is from those few years. I didn't grow up with these things or anything like that. I grew up in Connecticut, where I reside now. A little further south in Connecticut, but it's such a small state. I mean, it really doesn't matter in the scheme of things, north or south. It's about a 2-hour ride across. Oh yeah, nice big healthy roots. They look nicer than the other one. Let's see where we're at there. Oh yeah, I like that much better. Right to where the surface roots are. Put that down in there. I really want this centered. Oh yeah, that stuff's like mud. Right, so I have to go get some more soil. It's down in the yard, so I'm just gonna get that, fill it in, and then I'll show you all where they reside for their daily living. Okay, so in reverse order, got that one raised up in the pot, has a nice level even canopy, and it actually is doing exactly what I wanted because now it has clearance. Over here I have this large spider plant grouping over here. It's kind of growing into it, and now that beautiful root ball is exposed. That pineapple jaggedy looking crazy thing. And then for this season, up on the mantle, my Marine Corps mantle with my garden gnome. Got that little poinsettia, a texture white pot. I think that looks sharp. So supposedly you put these in the basement a couple weeks before you want them to be red, and they red up on you. So we're going to test that this year. And boom! I No room. This is kind of like a staging area, my drip trays and spare pots and such. But now that it's spread out, you can see how huge it is. So it resides in the seed room for now. At least it's pretty. And that root ball, once again, that one's nice and upright. And we're retraining these branches to be a nice even fan out. And then hopefully we'll get new growth this year up the middle. And I'll prune off these lower draggy ones so that we have more of a vertical canopy like that one. So yeah, all right, that kind of ends the end of my house with a nice big star piece sago palm. And that's where I'm going to end this video. So I hope you enjoyed yourself today, y'all. I know repotting isn't the most exciting, but hopefully the huge collection of and variety of different plants and trees that I have is. So if you're looking for much, much more and want to dig into the history of Jarhead Bonsai, please follow the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and check out my playlist. So I'm Jared Paul signing out. Cheers, y'all.